Now, let me tell you about a story you likely haven't heard very much about. It's about one of the top terrorists in the country. This person sent ricin, which is toxic and deadly, to the President of the United States of America, let alone other figures. Her name is Shannon Guess Richardson, and that's probably why you haven't heard very much about her at all. Now, if her name was perhaps a Middle Eastern name, you might have heard a lot about her. But as it stands, she was apprehended, convicted, and sentenced with nary a peep. So who did she send ricin to? President Barack Obama, New York City Mayor at the time, Michael Bloomberg, and Mark Glaze, and he is the former head of Bloomberg's anti-gun group, Mayors Against Illegal Guns. So clearly political motivation. I'll read from the letter in a second. According to the letter, according to herself at the time, right? And she sends poison to kill top American officials. If I'll make up a random Muslim name, Abdul Mohammed Karim had sent poison to the president and to the New York City mayor, do you think you might have heard about that one? You think we might have had 24-hour coverage on Fox News week after week? Oh my God, again, the Muslims are coming. Look at what they have done. They have targeted our president and the mayor and all these officials. This is part of a global jihad. Now, when it's a right-winger who doesn't want their quote-unquote guns taken away, what do you mean? What, Mary Shannon Guess Richardson? Guess who? I don't know. Never heard of her. Now, luckily, the authorities did deal with her. 18 years in prison, she was sentenced to, and required to pay $367,000 in restitution. You could argue for a heavier sentence. You could argue for Guantanamo Bay, and I can guarantee you more than half the people in Guantanamo didn't do anything this bad. I know that because they're slated for release because, oops, they were innocent. We got the wrong guys. A lot of them were turned in for a bounty, but they're in Guantanamo Bay indefinitely. But 18 years is a significant prison sentence, so I'm not blaming the authorities here. But look at the media coverage. Have you seen this anywhere? I haven't seen it anywhere. Tiny little blip on the radar. But in terms of full-blown coverage, okay. What did she write in her letter? She wrote, "What's in this letter is nothing compared to what I've got in store for you, Mr. President. You will have to kill me and my family before you get my guns. Anyone wants to come to my house will get shot in the face." Now, again, say that's, and I'm sorry for a weird stereotypical name, but Mohammed Abdul Karim, or whatever I made up a minute ago, and tells the president, "You'll have to kill me and my family before you get our weaponry." Oh my God, that sounds like a suicide bomber. Jesus, man, that's the part of a global jihad against the United States. When it's a right-winger, well, not a big deal. No, she's just crazy. They say that her possible motivation, at least that's what she claims now, was that she was angry at her husband and wanted to implicate her ex-husband as the guy who wrote the letter and get him in trouble, and she thought nobody would actually open it. Well, that sounds like she's crazy, right? What, are the other people who do terrorism sane? They kill innocent civilians. Sometimes they blow up kids. Sometimes they target public officials like this. Remember the crazy guy who shot a congresswoman in the head? Another person that was on the right wing shot a Democratic congresswoman in the head. Shh. It's only a global conspiracy when it's Muslims. When it's right-wingers, when it's white people, it's just one crazy person acting alone. No big deal, no big deal. And she is, don't get me wrong, nuts. Now, of course, she says this in hindsight, but she said, "I never intended for anybody to be hurt. I'm not a bad person. I don't have it in me to hurt anyone. I do love my country and I respect my president." Well, you got kind of a funny way of showing that. If you respected the president, sending him a deadly poison wouldn't have been my top choice. Well, doesn't really matter. This is the last time you'll ever hear about Shannon Guess Richardson. She will never be connected to any other right-wing group who does any act of domestic terrorism. In fact, no one will call it an act of domestic terrorism. You can target the president, you can try to kill the mayor of New York, all you want, as long as you're not Muslim. Then it's just random. Yes, you'll get a prison sentence, but the media will say that's the end of it. You don't need to hear anything more about this story.